California will have a gubernatorial election in 2022. Democrat Gavin Newsom won in 2018, but now Mike Grover, a Republican, is trying to flip the seat from Democrat to Republican in Sacramento. Mike Grover, thank you so much for joining me today in this interview.
Thanks for inviting me, Cameron.
So, what inspired your decision to run for governor?
You know, I was involved in the campaign to recall Gavin back in June, and I was talking to one of the people that are running it. And I asked him, so once we go through all this hassle of getting him out of office, who's going to actually replace him? How do we know we get somebody that's actually going to protect our freedoms in this state? And they had no answer because it was the people's decision. And so eventually, after a couple people suggested that I do it, and looked into it and thought about it, and someone's got to bring the Constitution back to California, Cameron. It's someone's got to do that, and I'm going to be that guy.
And why are you running as a Republican?
I've been a Republican for a long time. Most of my life, as far as I can remember, I've been a Republican. And, you know, that's just the only party that I've been able to associate with my values.
And do you feel that even in a blue state like California, you can break through as a Republican?
I think so. You know, the Democrats in California, Gavin Newsom did a really good job at hurting them, I think. In this last election, we had a lot of support for the Republican side of things. We won a few seats that we didn't have before. Yeah, I think so. You know, because this race is more than just Republican Democrat, in my opinion. This race is more about saving California and bringing people back and help them stay here and raise their families here.
Let's dive into your policy platform, starting with infrastructure. You talk about the gas tax that was voted in 2017. You say that California has the highest fuel tax in the country and that the fuel tax was allowed by voters specifically to fix the roads and highways. These are your words from your website. Why do you when you say that the fuel tax was allowed by voters, how much blame how much personal responsibility should the voters take for passing this gas tax?
Well, not much at all, because they're being misled. You know, the title of the ballots was talking about higher education. It was an education bill that was going to put more money into education. And it was a gas tax. And if people really knew what that was going to do, we're paying 50 cents on the dollar per gallon of gas. So if they knew that was going to happen, they wouldn't have voted for it. They were lied to. And now, how are our roads looking? You know, Jerry Brown passed a law back when he was here, and he doubled our DMV fees to fix the roads. And I've been traveling all along California. I'm down in Pasadena right now. I'm in my RV. And these roads are the worst I've ever seen. Where's the money going?
So you say that the voters were misled. You know, there could be an argument that, okay, but, there are many people who, on any given issue, whether it's a ballot initiative or anything else, that are promoting a certain idea. Why did your belief system not win in the marketplace of ideas here?
You're talking about why were people misled? Is that what you mean with the?
Well,
the
you're
gas tax?
saying that you're saying that people were misled with this gas tax. I'm saying that even if they are, why did your belief system not win out at the polls?
Well, because it didn't say it was a gas tax. It didn't say this is going to be a gas tax. We're going to raise your taxes. It said this is going to help the colleges and give more money to the schools and also fix the roads. It didn't say exactly what it was. That's the problem. See, and so if you read more into it, you can see that it's just basically another road tax. It's just like the Safe Schools and Neighborhoods Act they tried in 2013. That basically declassified our laws and let people out of prison earlier. But it wasn't a Safe Schools and Neighborhoods Act. It was releasing people from prison and changing the laws. So they label these laws so that people are a little confused and they think they're helping. People, when they voted for this gas tax, they thought that they were actually helping the state. I'm not saying that they didn't know what they're doing, but we want to help this state. We want it to be better, but we're not being told the truth. And now we have another tax in California, and they're not doing things with that. Where are our roads that were supposed to be fixed, you know, 15, 20 years ago when the DMV fees were doubled? Where are the roads there? So that's all I'm saying is it's not so much that they're not smart people. It's this, that we're being misled on a regular basis, and we don't know what to believe. But the people, the ones that voted yes for it, they intended to help the state. I have no doubt about that.
Another aspect of your infrastructure plan, you talk about securing the water supply. You say on your campaign site, we need to secure our dams, reservoirs, canals, and waterways. We can be environmentally responsible and improve our water supply systems at the same time. How do you promote uh, environmentally responsible water supply uh, policies while improving water supply systems?
Well, the first thing we have to do, Cameron, is we have to secure the dams, meaning reinforce them. A lot of our dams in California are very old and they have not been maintained. We know that with the Oroville dam break with the a couple years ago, and we had that issue, and it went over the spillway, and then the spillway basically fell apart. So we know that we need to spend more money in infrastructure, and I know somebody in the department that manages that told me that they haven't been maintaining it. They don't know where the money's been going. So they have the money to maintain these dams. So we need to actually use the money and maintain these dams so that they can have, see, like for instance, Full Dam over where I'm at, right? That is not structurally sound enough to have full capacity, and that is from an engineer. Okay, so we need to make sure that all the dams that we currently have are strengthened so that they can have full capacity. See, we're having these 100-year droughts every 5 years caused by man, right? And we have these reservoirs that we can make sure that they're stable enough to hold more water instead of having to continue to drain them and let them out every couple of years so that we don't over pressure the borders and everything and the walls of the dam. So there's a lot of things that we can do to make sure that we take care of what we already have, because building a dam, I mean, it's 20, 30 years. We've had 50 years of dams that we wanted to build and they've been turned down. So building a dam is not realistic, right now, really quick. So let's fix what we have so that we can increase our capacity, and then we move on from there.
In speaking of water this is more specific to one city, but in Dos Palos, California, Business Insider ranked Dos Palos, California as one of the 12 cities with the worst tap water in the U.S. According to their reports, that the tap the tap water there has toxic chemicals linked to cancer and kidney problems. How do you ensure that cities like Dos Palos can have cleaner water?
We go to all different countries, third world countries, and we're putting in purification plants. Why can't we do that in California, right? We've got oceans all around us on the west side. Why can't we use that water? We've got the purification capabilities. So I will encourage more of that in California. Why are we going to other countries and cleaning up their water when we can't even do ours? I mean, like I said, I'm traveling here from Sacramento. I'm down in the LA area, and the water down here absolutely tastes different than what I'm used to up in Sacramento, and it is horrible. So I feel that. That is definitely a big issue. We don't want another problem we had in Michigan, right? They had the contaminated water. People were dying. That's unacceptable for any state, especially California with our technology.
And also to note, from 2013 to 2018, their city well failed at least 22 different tests. So do you feel that cities and their, I know that you're running for governor, but that local cities and municipal and at the municipal level, that city officials should be held accountable for these kinds of issues?
Oh, definitely. That's a failure on our city governments. And that's one of the things that I've been talking about as I've been going around the state speaking this last week is people need to be involved in their local communities so that they can actually start making these decisions. Get on the water board. There's links through your city websites on what board positions are open, what committee positions are open, city council. So there's all kinds of opportunities for us to get involved. That's why I'm doing this, because all these years I was a police officer for 19 years, and I didn't want any public office, right? But I decided that it is time for me to take action. It is time for all of us to take action and be part of the solution. So yeah, the water contamination problem is the responsibility of the local government. So we need to hold them accountable. But on the other hand, we need to get involved so that we can take action and actually make sure that this doesn't happen again.
Moving on to tax reform, your tax reform platform, you say outright that taxes need to be reduced, and you say that unnecessary taxes should be avoided at all costs. How do you define unnecessary taxes?
Unnecessary taxes are taxes that are spent in ways that are not legal. Okay, the California Constitution tells exactly where all of our money is supposed to go, and it's being ignored. So when I say unnecessary taxes, I'm talking about the gas tax, right? The gas tax, the DMV fees, these types of things. Where's that money going? Let's make that money efficient. We don't need the gas tax if we're not fixing the roads. Where's that money going? And why do we have $300 million in the controller's office that's not been approved because she doesn't know where the money went? Why is that okay? We're paying taxes so that they can have that money, and they are not using the money efficiently or legally, in my opinion. So that's what I mean by unnecessary taxes. We're the highest tax on state income in America. And when you drive into California, it's the worst looking roads I've ever seen. It's just ridiculous. So we need to be more, the government needs to be more responsible for our tax dollars, because I'd like to lower taxes, and I don't see a reason why we can't if we bring industry back into California. We'll talk about that in a minute.
How much, you say reducing, you mentioned, certain examples, but you say that taxes should be reduced. How much should taxes be reduced in California?
Oh, I mean, 50% at least. I mean, why are we paying, up to 13%? I mean, the average person pays 9.3% in California. Why? And then we pay property tax, and we pay sales tax. It's 10% in most counties. So if you add up all the little taxes here and there we're paying, business licenses, health department licenses, ABC licenses for the businesses, and all these little things, nickel and diming, we're paying 50-60% taxes right now. And that's not including just the income tax, right? The average person in a retirement plan that they have, they're paying over 50% of just taxes alone. And that's not including all the things I just mentioned. That's just income tax. So we've got to get out. Our government has to get out of the thought process that, oh, we need more money, let's just go tax the working people. It's got to stop. So I'd say 50% easy. And see, if we bring industry back, and when I talk about industry, I'll go into this, but basically that's really my solution, and I'll tell you that when you're ready to talk about the industry.
You say a part of your tax reform platform, uh, that you believe that there should be more support for small businesses, and you say that small business owners are the foundation of our economy. Why should small business owners be the foundation of the economy?
Well, they are. See, the small business is the foundation because these are the people like you and I who have dreams. I was just driving through a city yesterday and I saw a bunch of businesses closed. Actually, this morning when I'm coming to Pasadena, I was driving through a town and actually through part of Pasadena, and I see a lot of businesses that are closed. Really nice chandeliers, signs on the windows, the place is vacant, ready to be leased out again. These people are the ones that said, you know what, someday I'm going to either come to America and I'm going to own my own business, or I'm going to be a business owner and I have this desire to have my own restaurant, right? These are the people that are the foundation of the communities. These are the ones that are participating in the communities. These are the ones that are paying for the kids' college. These are the ones that are contributing sales tax, right? Businesses collect sales tax for the state. They have to get a resale license, right? So they have to actually pay sales tax to the state. So they collect it from us. That is the source of income for our cities, counties, and the states. And we're shutting them. He's shutting them down. And when you shut them down, you don't have an income, and then you don't have people getting educated because the kids aren't going to school. And then you have other issues that go along with that, where you have homelessness and bankruptcy and all this debt, and then the government just wants to fix it by throwing you some money and putting you in debt to them. So the foundation of our economy and this country was founded by entrepreneurs. These big box stores were started by entrepreneurs. The problem is some of them got so big that they've overwhelmed the little guys, and the little guys could not compete, and it pushed them out of business. And so then you have the big box stores coming in and taking over the communities.
Would you
And that's not
regulate
okay.
would you regulate big box stores?
I wouldn't regulate them. I would adjust their tax base, to be honest with you. Now, typically their taxes are based on the revenues, but I would find a way of giving tax incentives for smaller businesses so that they can actually afford to participate in the market, right? So if regulation to the bigger companies like that to keep the little guys afloat and keep them successful, that might be something I consider.
You mentioned homelessness a little bit, due to some like businesses being shut down, and homelessness being the possible the outcome after a business shuts down. But you say that mental health in your homelessness platform, you say that mental health is the core of the homelessness problem and the priority. How are you going to improve mental health systems in California?
Bring back the mental health hospitals. When I was an officer, one of the biggest problems we had with the homeless and with anyone that had mental illness issues, right? They would be taken to the hospital for evaluation. Once the evaluation was done, they basically kick them out because, oh, you're fine. We gave you some meds. Now you go back on the street. Now, just to be clear, the mental health issue is mostly directed for the majority, and I say about 95% of the homeless that we see. That's the problem in our communities. The ones sleeping in front of the businesses, the ones sleeping in the tents along the freeways. They need our help. There's a small percentage of them that are the ones that are living in their cars because of jobs, living in their cars because they just had a bad time in their life or whatever. But the majority of these, based on my personal experience being on the street talking to them, is mental illness. And if we have the mental hospitals brought back to California, permanent hospitals, we can provide these citizens, these human beings, with the assistance that they need, whether it's mental health for the rest of their lives, or if it's a temporary assistance to help them get off of the drugs or the alcohol or with the addiction that they're fighting. And then instead Instead of just giving them addiction issues and kicking them back out, let's teach them how to do a job. Let's teach them a skill. Let them be a productive person in their society so that they don't have to go back to the street. And then all of the help that we gave them and all the taxpayers' dollars that was used for, it doesn't go in vain. We want to use our tax dollars efficiently and help the people that are in this state, but our tax dollars are not designed to take from the people that are working hard and give it to the people that don't. We want to help the ones that need the help and give them a source and an ability to help themselves.
You also say on your campaign site that the government needs to do a better job coordinating with community groups to provide complete services to the homeless, guiding them to success. So you don't believe that there should be extra funding necessarily from California's state government to help these areas, that it should be more of a community-based effort?
Yes, I think that the state should be giving the money to the nonprofits that actually want to help these people. There's a lot of nonprofits out there, people that really have a desire that their purpose in life is to help others. And so they go to a nonprofit that helps particular people, whether they're drug abusers or whether they're, just on the streets. And then they need the mental health help or whatever it is. There's nonprofits for everything out there. So why can't the government focus on these nonprofits, give them money, and let them do what they're good at? See, the government should be running the government, not providing social programs. That is not what our taxpayer dollars are designed to do. We need to let the professionals do the professional work and let these nonprofits who have professionals, counselors, guidance counselors, whatever it is, sometimes doctors, let them help those people that they need the help from, but let them be specific and specialized. The government is not the answer. I mean, look at what we've done. Look at where we're at right now, and let's see if we want to continue down that path. I don't think so.
How do you hold nonprofits accountable for making sure that they are helping those in need?
Well, let's do the vetting process. That's where the government would be responsible for coming in and assigning people to say, okay, how are things actually going? Not talking to the hospital and the staff, talking to the actual people that have come out of the programs. And then we're going to see how efficient it is by talking to the people and seeing if they're actually getting the help that they need, and if they don't, going in and figuring out where the corrections are. So it's a vetting process too, right? I mean, you have to make sure that there's enough research done so that whatever nonprofit is chosen for whatever skill that they need help with in that particular community. So that's where working with community leaders is going to help direct those decisions, opposed to the government just saying, well, we're having problems with homeless in this area, so we're just going to create a project Room Key. We're going to throw a couple $1 million, take a couple pictures, and we're going to let these people just destroy the hotels and the businesses that the state's paying for. That stuff's got to stop. We got to have a process and an actual purpose with an end game, and that has to be with purpose. It just can't be arbitrarily throwing money at it.
Switching now to government accountability, you say on your website that frequent press conferences will be available so that the citizens know their voices are heard. Are you going to take questions from citizens to make sure their voices are heard?
Yes, as an example, right now I do frequent town halls on social media, right? And that way people can ask me questions. I can tell them what's going on. My biggest thing right now is making sure people know where to find the laws that are being made by our legislators. And most of them, we don't even know what they're about. Like, for instance, in 2020 in July, a lot of people don't know that all of our Republican leaders wrote a bill to cancel the state of emergency in California. It was submitted on July 18th and it died in committee. So the question to me that I have is, why didn't I know about this? Why didn't everybody know that this was even happening? Because we could have used the process that's in place And we could have written letters and contacted our local assemblymen, our local senators, our local representatives, and we could have said, hey, look, you better make sure this thing passes. But we didn't even know it was occurring. So one of the things that I'm going to do is make sure that there is a direct channel. We have whitehouse.gov or C-SPAN. You can watch what's going on in the Senate. We don't have anything like that in California. I'm going to create a platform to where I can consistently be in front of the public, and not just to tell them what to do, but to tell them what's going on, what the legislators are planning and doing, so that they can be educated and informed on the laws that are coming out. I'm going to make sure that they understand what that law is going to do for them, or have my staff explain that for them. I want to make sure that they have consistent contact with me. And I'm also going to set a time, at least once a month or a couple times a month, where people can directly ask me questions, whether it's, via Facebook or in my office or whatever it is. But typically what's happened with our governors and a lot of our leaders is they get elected and you can't even get a hold of their office anymore. That stuff's got to stop, because our elected officials, they're working for us. And I think I need to bring that. I know that I need to bring that back to the Capitol.
I just want to clarify. You did say that there's C-SPAN at the federal level, and you can see what's going on in the U.S. Senate and the U.S. House. But if there are video feeds of the California state legislature, if people want to see.
So where are the people explaining to the citizens how many bills are coming up in the next election and what they exactly mean to you? That's what I'm talking about. There's none of that. Yeah, we can sit there and watch them, talking and things like that. But who's explaining to us, this says Safe Schools and Neighborhoods Act, but this is actually what it's going to do. This is how it's going to affect your neighborhoods. Oh, well, I guess I'm not going to vote for that one. So that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about actual transparency,
Well,
not just getting on.
go ahead.
Not just getting on the cameras to tell us what we have to do. I'm talking about something just educating people so they know what's actually going on inside the Capitol.
Well, I mean, there are media outlets that do, cover these bills and report on these topics. So, I mean, that is available to the public.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about media. I'm talking about the truth. I'm talking about people like you that actually do the research and actually allow people to know the truth, not just tell them what we want them to hear. So that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking direct line to me, to my staff, to say, look, we've got over 100 laws right now in California that are pending to be brought to the floor. Does anybody know what they are? Does anyone know how they're going to affect us? And so that's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
They're there for people to see, but you got to know where to find them.
Education platform, last platform topic before our final topic. In terms of education, you say we need to raise the bar for our students and teachers. What do you mean by that?
Well, first of all, bring them back to school. Second of all, we need to have a curriculum that actually is going to teach our children how to get along in life after school. Right now, yeah, we learn the reading, writing, arithmetic, but they've taken out a lot of the schools in the Sacramento area. They've taken out a lot of those trades, right? The wood shop, the metal shop. They can't learn welding. They can't learn in my city. Actually, they don't even have auto shop in all their schools. They only have it in one school now. And so we're taking a lot of these ROP programs away from our school, and so now the kids have to go through school and then pay for a program to how to learn a skill. So it's all of that, and then holding the teachers accountable. That's been a problem we've had for many years. But we have to, first of all, the curriculum I think is going to help do that, because if we create a curriculum that's actually going to help our children and teach them correct history, like 1776 history from our country, making sure that they know the foundation of our fathers from kindergarten all the way into college. No one studies the Constitution anymore. Nobody knows what the government can and cannot do. So that's what I'm talking about when I talk about holding teachers accountable.
Well, I mean there are certain I mean there are teachers who do discuss the Constitution and who do have lessons on the Bill of Rights. So that I mean that does still exist.
Yeah, but that's not enough. They taught my kids about the past presidents in elementary school, and then when it comes to high school, they've got one class about the Constitution, and that depends on the teacher. I'm talking every single year. There's got to be some sort of constitutional studies about what our rights are, what we can and cannot do, what the government can and cannot do. They do not teach that in school, but yes, they do have some of those. They do have a constitutional course, but I want to make that 5, 10, 15 times better, meaning starting from the beginning of school all the way to college. So, yes, they do have that, but it's not enough. We live in a country of freedom, and most kids coming out of school right now don't even know what the Constitution is, at least the ones I've talked to. So, yeah, so you're right, but it's not enough.
You mentioned this. You say we need to on your campaign's website. You say we need to reward teachers for all of their hard work and dedication to educate our children. Parents should not need to bring supplies to classrooms, and we have billion-dollar education budgets. When you say that we need to reward teachers for all of their hard work, should they get paid more?
Yeah, they should get paid more. I think, the thing is that one of the things that used to really irritate me. I've got 5 children, and three of them are still in elementary and high school. Every year, we get notices from the school saying, "Hey, on back to school day, we need you to bring pens and papers and erasers." And we talk to the teachers. I'm paying for more pens and more erasers out of my own pocket, but yet the administrators, these school districts, are making $300,000-400,000 a year, and I can't even get anyone to answer the phone. So why is it that we have? I'll give an example. In this last couple months, actually this last year, I watched a very large, multi-million-dollar, state-of-the-art school district in Sacramento building be constructed. Multi-million dollars they're spending on these school districts for a distribution center and who knows what else. While our teachers are not making much money at all. Yeah, they're making good money, but why are they buying supplies? Because the schools are getting the money from the states, and they're not spending it where they need to, because most of it are going to these high salaries of these high administrators in the district side. So I want to renegotiate or look at the necessity of having even districts. Why do we have 3 districts within 2 cities up in the Sacramento area? Where's all that money going? Why does the head of the school district need to make $300,000-400,000 when the head of the school, who's actually doing all the work, makes like 150, 125, and then the teachers are making 70 or 80, and they don't even have paper in their classrooms? So it's those kind of things that I want to look at.
You say that you're kind of exploring the possibility of not even having districts. Well, how would you coordinate then on a local level with schools if there's no real district or unified organization to accomplish your goals?
Well, we have a California Department of Education. We've got a Department of Education with the federal government. We've got the school districts. We've got the city, the school, the schools, right? And I had an incident with my school to where I wanted to take my children out of school for 3 weeks for our cross country trip that we do every couple of years. Okay, I was told by the principal that if I did that I would have to disenroll my kids. And at that time, it was hard to keep the kids in the same school, even though we lived right down the street from it. And then I went to the school district and I read the rules. And the rules said it's up to the principal. So I went to the superintendent. The superintendent said, well, the schools make their own decisions. So I'm thinking, well, if the schools make their own decisions, then what the heck are you doing? What is your purpose then? Just to collect books? We can deliver and distribute books from the state level to all the schools if we need to. Why do we need a third party? So that'll be part of my analysis to figure out what exactly are these school districts doing with our taxpayers' dollars, and are they as efficient as they should be? That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, last topic here, your race for California governor. I've interviewed some candidates who are running for governor. You're running, of course. There are, more and more people entering into this race here already in the beginning of 2021. Uh, how are you planning to campaign for this seat?
Well, right now we're doing a grassroots effort, and what I'm focusing on is I'm focusing on making some history here, because my campaign is going to be focused on a grassroots effort with people on the ground knocking on doors and actually speaking to people. Now, obviously, I can't get to everybody, but I have people, and I'm still recruiting people for every single county in this state to create teams, and we're going to have people going around knocking on doors, introducing me to them, passing out my flyers, and introducing people to my website, groverforgovernor.com, to make sure that people can do their research and find out who it is. Research has shown, at least the training that I've been in, that communication one-on-one with the people in this state is really most efficient. People want to know that they're cared about, and people want to know that they're important. And that's what my campaign is going to be about. When like today, I'm at a rally in Pasadena right now. People like it when I come out and talk to people, because I am a people person. I've been working with people. It's been my business for many years when I was a police officer, and in the insurance industry right now, I'm a people person. I have to deal with people, and I like one-on-one. So that is my, now of course we're going to do other media as well, but the most efficient media, or the most efficient process, is talking to the people who are the most important. And that's what a lot of politicians forget about. I'm not a celebrity. I'm going to be a public servant, and that's where the difference is.
You look at, this race so far, and the different candidates that have entered in. Do you How do you view your opponents?
Well, there's a lot of great guys out there. The only difference here is that, I started working with this recall campaign, and my focus has been this recall campaign. As a matter of fact, I got people signing the recall all the time when I'm out running around meeting people. It's important to understand that I have been doing this since the beginning, and my purpose is to restore the Constitution in California and bring the government back to the people. So the other candidates are great guys, but I can tell you right now, none of them have spent 19 years enforcing and protecting the Constitution, keeping the people safe, and putting their lives on the line to make sure that the citizens have a good place to live and that they're safe. Nobody has seen what bad policy looks like I have, because I've been on the street and I dealt with the new laws that these legislatures create that cause problems in our communities. So that's the big difference between me and the others, is they have not seen what I've seen. They have not been in people's homes and felt and seen the emotion of things that go on when the laws aren't helping our citizens. And that needs to
La-
change.
oh, go ahead.
No, that needs to change. So we need to, people need to know that they're being hurt.
Last question before we end the program. Is there anything that you would like to add?
Yeah, being governor is not about going to the state capitol and being the boss, right? It's about making sure that all of the people in California have a voice. It will be my responsibility to make sure that if a law comes across my desk, it has to fulfill two very important rules. One, does this law support the Constitution? Number two, is this a good use, a responsible use of taxpayers' dollars? If both of those answers are not yes, it is going to be vetoed, because I am representing the people. And that's what we need.
Mike, Grover, thank you so much for joining me today, and really appreciate it. Everyone, thanks for tuning into this broadcast. For Mike Grover,
Thanks.
I'm Cameron Sadeghi.